Hey, Mack, how are you?
I'm good. We have impeccable timing here as a thunderstorm literally just started seconds
Oh,
ago. Florida.
well, welcome to issue 62 of Marvel Time. Um, we are going to talk about comics, we're going to talk about What If, and we'll talk about other things that may or may not happen. But we'll start with comics. Mac, where are we starting today?
Let's jump into, since we're going to be talking a lot about Shang-Chi during this issue, let's start with our Shang-Chi comic this week.
Yeah, so this continues the sort of Shang-Chi versus the everyone else storyline where he's taken over his dad's mantle, but is trying to do good with it. However, the Avengers at all don't necessarily believe him. So this week he needs to get to the quantum realm not quantum realm, excuse me, the negative zone. Not negative zone.
Yeah, you're right. Negative zone.
Okay, negative zone. And then I keep thinking what's it called from Superman? Phantom zone.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's trying to go to the negative zone. And so where do you go? You go to the Fantastic Four. That obviously doesn't go well, but he ends up finding a long lost family member. And it's, if you're just reading it because you saw the movie, it's obviously a different continuity, but it still, has many of the same themes too.
Yeah, definitely a different story, but it does kind of almost foreshadow what we get at the end of the movie almost. It's hard to kind of talk about that without spoiling either one here, but I definitely expected more Fantastic Four in this issue. I don't know about you. I mean, especially based on this comic, they weren't in it a ton. And by comic, I mean cover. That's what I was going for. Yeah, I expect to see, because like you said, this series so far has been Shang-Chi versus, we saw versus Wolverine versus Spider-Man versus Captain America, now Fantastic Four, and they seem to be in it less than those other characters.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it, and I've given up on covers. You can enjoy them for what they are.
Yeah, I did like this issue for sure. It does have a pretty cool twist in it, and I like that we are, now progressing this story of Shang-Chi as opposed to it being this sort of gimmicky, like he faces off against a new hero each week. It does have a pretty interesting story going forward. I get kind of vibes of Shadowland, which is one of my favorite crossover events. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Cool. So where are we going from here?
Let's jump into this new issue #1 here, Khazar, Lord of the Savage Land, which not to be confused with the other Khazar comic that dropped today, which threw me off for a little while. I think it was like Khazar Marvel Tales or something like that.
Yeah, that's the sort of reprint version.
Yeah. So yeah, we do have a new story for Khazar. We talked about this not that long ago. This was, one of those things. This was one of the big impacts from Empire. And we talked then about how, Marvel characters or comic book characters in general never stay dead for too long. Sure enough, not long after that, we got the announcement of a new Khazar series. So, of course, we knew he was coming back. And here we are. This is him dealing with being resurrected. What do you think of this issue?
It was okay. It's it's got that sort of Son of Tarzan vibes. But I don't know. It's just it wasn't special, but it wasn't bad to me. It was just I guess it kind of depends on they kind of clued you in toward the end of what this run's going to be or what this arc is going to be.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it was fine. Khazar has never been a character that I've really connected with, and I've never gotten into his story at all. I love the art of this issue. I thought that was fantastic, probably some of the best this week. And it's an interesting setup. There's some sort of underlying, overarching story that they are setting up here, although it is overshadowed by this sort of family dynamic, which, to be honest, didn't really excite me all that much. But it was an interesting start, and I'd be interested to see where it goes. From there, let's get into some symbiotes. because I love my symbiotes. So we had the continuation of the Extreme Carnage story, which was Toxin. You know where I stand on symbiotes, but what did you think about this issue?
This was my pick of the week.
Oh wow!
We talk a lot of times symbiotes aren't acting symbiotic, and I think what this issue addressed was a lot of that sort of different take on the symbiote host relationship, which I thought was interesting. And then you sort of have that relationship compared to Toxin and Carnage's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it typically moved that sort of Extreme Carnage story all that much, but I think it's nice to get into. It's nice that this series has been able to kind of differentiate the symbiotes as opposed to just all being the same. Or the bad version. Carnage is like an intense version of Venom, who's like
right.
It just sort of like kind of felt like for a while whenever like a symbiote got soft, they would just make the mean version. No, I liked it. I like the storytelling. I like the paneling on this issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoyed this issue a lot too. I do think it kind of suffered from just scheduling. Like, it feels like the last part of this story came so long ago that I needed a refresher. I just needed to get caught up on where we were. So that was a downside to it. Funny because you've said in the past, that there's just so many symbiotes and it's getting to be like a lot to try and keep track of. And this is the first time where and I wouldn't say the first time, but this more so than any other time, I felt that. Like, I felt like, okay, oh, that's right, here's this character that we were introduced to. No, wait, that's this other character instead. And yeah, they were kind of all over the place a little bit there for probably only the last few pages. But I do enjoy the dynamic with Toxin and his host. And I really like this overarching story. This is one that I really want to revisit once they're all out, because again, with the scheduling, the way this has been going, it's kind of been very, very spread out. But I'm looking forward to revisiting this story. Next, we have what I'll just say is my pick of the week, and this was Daredevil number 34. Yes, 34. I'll start us off here because obviously I really, really enjoyed this issue. I'm really enjoying this story. The Elektra version of Daredevil has been a lot of fun. There's two really great stories playing out here. You've got Matt Murdock in prison, and then you've got Elektra filling his role in the streets. And they're kind of coming together now. We're about to see those two stories collide. But I'm really liking where this is going. It's been very grounded, very real. It feels like it could be set in the real world today, which was, those are, like we said several times, these are the kinds of stories that we enjoy. And there's also a very interesting team up potentially coming next week. So they leave us with a good setup for a big fight. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I did too. I felt the Daredevil in prison monologuing went on a little too long.
Yeah.
And I guess that was just, it's an interesting story, but it's not really the story at this point. And, he's, after all that passion, he's instantly, turned away by Bullseye. So I feel like, I don't know, I just felt like the pacing could have been a little bit better. But I do love the story, and I'm looking forward to the event that's coming up that kind of will spin out of this series in the coming months.
Yeah. We just got information on Devil's Reign yesterday, I believe. And this is sort of building up to that. And I really am excited for that crossover event coming up now. Let's get to our final issue here. This is the one that I so badly wanted to be my pick of the week.
So I'm going to, as I've said before, I've come in and out of Spider-Man, and I feel like this one, it needed you to know a lot of Spider-Man mythos, and a lot, and there wasn't enough sort of exposition to kind of clue you in, maybe not fill in all the details, but I felt like there's a lot of Harry Osborns, a lot of Norman Osborns, digging deep into Mysterio and Chameleon, and I mean, we talked about the controversy of like the Clone Saga and One More Day and stuff like that, and it just felt like this is trying to set up something that's obviously going to change the status quo for Spider-Man, and I don't want it to feel. I feel like we spent so much of Kindred talking in recent months, and then to rush through whatever, like the reveal of the plan, just disappointed me.
Yeah. Let me read you my first note I had on this particular issue. That was it. I have no idea what was going on. There was a lot happening. Like you said, a lot of Norman Osborns, plural, a lot of Harry Osborns, plural. There's other characters popping up that I'm not in. It was one of those two where I read it and I was like, I don't know what really happened and what didn't. Like, what was flashback? What was hallucination? What actually happened? I'm not sure. Yeah, I wanted answers and we didn't get them here. I mean, it feels like it's being drawn out even more. Like I said, I thought this would be my pick of the week. I was really excited for this one. I guess we'll get more in the actual Sinister War title, but we'll see where that goes. So, yeah, I was disappointed by this one.
Yeah, it was definitely my most anticipated, which made it then my most disappointing. We should also point out that each issue this week featured a short story commemorating the 20th anniversary of September 11th. Obviously, Marvel, I shouldn't say obviously, but Marvel being based in New York at that time and to today, the events of that day resonated deep. We've seen, that sort of classic Spider-Man image that they released shortly after the attack. And it's a touching story. It's just a way to kind of honor the heroes of that day. And it's a nice little way to commemorate. I will say I read it first I read Spider-Man first, so I read it there first. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure. I didn't know about it. I didn't think about it.
Right.
And so then you're like, oh, a backup story. And then you're like, it's not clear what's happening right away. And then once you realize it kind of hits you in the gut a little bit.
Yeah.
But, it's a nice, as we deal with the 20th anniversary and various ways people are commemorating it, it was sort of the perfect way for Marvel to handle the unfortunate anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so now onto something completely lighter. Zombies.
Right.
Hey, Becca.
Hey, hi guys. How you doing?
Good.
So, what did everybody think of this week's What If?
It was awesome and weird, but awesome.
It was. I couldn't think about how they managed to meld horror, humor, heartbreak, all into one 30-ish minute episode. Is kind of unreal.
Yeah, I was surprised at how many characters were introduced and then lost, and then new characters were introduced, and I was like, "Whoa, they're really running the whole gamut here."
Yeah, I will go out and say that this, more than any other MCU project at all, felt like a perfect comic book, to the screen. I felt like I was watching a comic book. More than any movie, than any other TV show. I thought it was such a perfect adaptation, and adaptation is not the right word because this isn't the Marvel Zombie story. It's a brand new story, but it felt like a comic book as we were watching it.
I wish they didn't put the cast list at the beginning of the episode.
So we've been skipping that. Once the option comes up, we've been skipping it.
Yeah, I learned from Kyle last week during our Zacks of Life conversation that skipping the intro helps with this show a lot.
Good point.
We knew zombies were coming in this episode. Did you guys anticipate super zombies? Because I did not.
What do you mean?
In Marvel Zombies, at least, it's mostly they're zombies. It's like a zombie movie. It's your The Walking Dead. But this was zombies with mystic powers. Zombies functioning in an Iron Man suit. Zombies.
Oh yeah, I guess because the clip they showed at whatever Comic-Con included the Bucky Cap scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that was going to come. So yeah, I kind of figured, it would be the zombied Avengers. But I guess I was curious to see, initially when I first heard the series, like, okay, they'll do a fun little thing for 30 minutes. But like, obviously these shows take that premise and just like keep going more levels to it, And so at this point, you kind of expect it. It's not a surprise when it goes as deep as it does. But so I was until Mark Ruffalo tweeted out the like clip, I guess on Tuesday. I didn't expect it to take place when it took place, but I think that was an excellent choice.
Yeah, for sure.
I was a little unsure of what the rules with these zombies were. Like I said, they have their superpowers. They were, getting a Iron Man suit to function, but Hawkeye was also just missing Sharon Carter when she was sitting still and like pinned to a wall. So I wasn't sure, how that works. But I guess you kind of have to suspend that disbelief when you're dealing with zombie superheroes.
So here's my thought on that one. Was like I kind of expected to, like, how like zombies can walk, but just not quite as well.
Yeah.
I was like, so it kind of was like they have the powers, but they just don't quite have the motor skills to effectively use them. But my question is at the end, it's like, does Thanos still know his plan to like?
Yeah, that was another one that I was questioning too. I would love to actually see that as like the sequel to this episode. It like Thanos, zombie Thanos still collecting the stones, I think would be fun to watch.
Where was he? Like,
yeah.
Does it matter? Because I almost got the impression that they were going to Wakanda and he was already there, but I suppose it doesn't matter. But that was my initial thought, was like, oh my gosh, they're taking the stone right to him. But,
oh yeah, that is what they were going for. That's like your sort of big shock ending. Like, all of this was for naught. Like they are just delivering the end of the universe here.
Yeah, which is kind of depressing when the whole episode is like built on hope, and then nope, there's no hope.
Right. In two different ways, there's no hope.
Right. Very true.
I did like that they gave us a very clear what if moment. Like we had that a couple weeks ago where it was like we don't really know what the what if is, and this one it was very much just what if Janet Van Dyne contracted a quantum realm virus that created zombies, and saw the way that played out, which that was another one that confused me too, because like Hank Pym gets infected but then still knows how to get back out of the quantum realm. So I don't know, but I do like that they were very clear with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I imply that like somehow he got back on his boat, like, but it was brought back by Hope, and then that's why like she felt the guilt, was because she brought it into the world.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense too. This episode, like you mentioned, like they managed to work in the horror and heartbreak and all of these different elements. I feel like this gave us a lot of really great character moments, including what I would think is like the definitive Peter Parker moment in the MCU, and possibly ever. Like that was his little speech, his exchange with Hope was such a, like, this is Peter Parker. That's the character I know and love.
Yeah.
I will say, I thought it was, so you know how there was that whole thing about why didn't Ant-Man just go up Thanos' butt?
Not a conversation I thought we would have today, but yes.
So like they kind of, I mean, not the butt, they went through the mouth, but like they kind of did the similar thing. Which I thought was, I don't know if it was an intentional nod to the fans, but
yeah, I did like that. It was very funny too. Like they were like, when she's standing there, she's like, I have Sharon all over me. Like I thought, like that was really funny. There was a lot of really great moments. Obviously, Scott Lang as just a head was fantastic.
Very Futurama vibes.
Yeah.
Kyle said he wants a figure of the head wearing the head in the glass with a cape.
Yeah, I could totally see that as an accessory for one of the other what if figures.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
I have to give Kyle credit for this one, but he referred to the whole Vision Scarlet Witch aspect of this episode as Baba Yaga Vision. I thought that was really clever. loved that. Like I said, character elements that they included in this, but like Vision not being able to put down Wanda, and Wanda as a zombie being incredibly powerful. I love that whole dynamic. I would love to see more of that play out. And I mean, the horror element of it too. Vision luring in survivors just to feed them to Wanda. Like it got really dark at some point in this episode.
Very true.
And then we already talked about that shock ending where they hit you not quite as hard as last week's episode. I think it was still, I still felt like I just watched something really fun after I ended this one, even though it was just as, what's the word, like dark and hopeless as the last week, but didn't hit me the same way. Yeah. I will say though, it ended and I was like, no, I want more. That there has to be more of this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I guess yes, like you were saying, it's hopeless, but yes, wanted to see them at least get to that moment of like, oh crap, we're in big trouble here, or I don't know.
So we knew about the zombie episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we knew about like the Captain Carter episode and the Star-Lord as T'Challa episode. Do we know of others that haven't aired yet?
We haven't seen anything with Thor.
Yeah, we know there's a Killmonger episode where he is running Wakanda. I'm not sure. There might have been other ones that are not coming to mind right now.
Well, I guess my point is I think it's so cool that basically until Monday, we have no idea what next week will bring. Just like no clue.
Yeah. And I mentioned that on Zacks of Life too. Like that just, aside from getting those posters and clips and stuff, which if you can avoid looking at those and watching those clips, it's a complete surprise when you wake up on Wednesday morning. I love that about this show.
But no one here can do
that. No, we cannot.
So Marvel must-haves.
Yes. Sorry, let me pull up my screen here.
In the meantime, can we, Mr. Bob Newell has a superhero question for us. Yes, please feel free to ask any questions. We don't know that we can answer them, but we will try our best.
I do have my stuff ready to go. If someone doesn't mind. Thank you so much. Yeah, we've got stuff from last week and not too much, not too exciting, but some cool Doctor Strange items. There's, of course, the figure, which we have seen all along. They announced these a couple weeks ago, but yeah, this is on Entertainment Earth as part of the Build-A-Figure. Here's one of the legs for the Watcher. But yeah, some really cool design there for Doctor Strange. And then there's also the Funko Pop figure. Oh, I thought I had pulled up a separate image of that, but there we go. Yeah, I love that it comes with a little stand, so he's floating. So this is, Doctor Strange Supreme. And then if you really want, there's some shirts over at Hot Topic. We've seen this similar design with the Watcher, and I think they've done Peggy Carter and the Hydra Stomper, T'Challa. You can also get it in a variety of different colors over on Hot Topic. And I'm showing this in white because it's one of the color options. Definitely not my favorite, but again, we've got a few options here for some different color, if that's what you're into. And then the final one I'm going to show you is this. If I can get that position there. I like the design. Not a fan of that color in particular, but can kind of have some fun with it. So there you go. Show your love for Doctor Strange Supreme. If you love Doctor Strange Supreme, I mean, he was kind of a questionable character, right?
I mean, you could say responsible for more death than any other character in the Marvel universe. So
very true. Oh, there's another shirt that I didn't click on. There we go. The thermos. If you like the thermos, there's that design with him. Yeah, a couple of fun must-haves. I hope this week though will be better. I'm anticipating this will be a much better week of merchandise.
Yeah, this
Who
week
is
should be fun.
the better flyer, Superman or Iron Man? Well, considering Superman can fly like on his own.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a Marvel show, but I don't think there's any question that Superman can fly better because he doesn't need a suit.
Yeah, now if you had said Captain Marvel, I would hands down go Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's true. She's way more acrobatic, right?
Yeah.
You will believe a man can fly. So Mike went to the historic El Capitan Theater for the Shang-Chi opening night fan event, and got to see the movie. But they also had the introduction by the director, as well as some costumes on display that you will Disney and recognize from the film. And so it'll be running there for a couple more weeks if you want to check it out. If you're a D23 member, you can show your D23 member card and receive free popcorn and soda as well.
Ooh.
Very cool. That Death Dealer costume is so awesome. It's just such a disappointing character from the movie. Like it just ends up having very little impact on the actual movie. So what a waste of a great costume.
Well, isn't that what makes it? It's like you think the character's going to be cool and then just not. Like it's like Indiana Jones where he just shoots the guy. It's like you think this is going to be this epic fight and then no.
Right.
Well, there's also potential for this character to return, right? Like he's not completely gone, or she, or whoever. Like
I
the
would
Death
have to
Dealer
revisit it.
could come back, I assume.
Well, I don't think Death Dealer necessarily needs to be one person. I'm pretty sure you could have anybody kind of fill that role. Yeah.
So maybe this title will have a better better role in the future.
Hope so. I hope to see the return of that mask. Speaking of Shang-Chi and its theatrical release, it unsurprisingly crushed it at the box office this weekend, but did surprisingly exceeded how much we thought it was going to crush. 132.2 million, I believe, was the haul over the course of the 4-day weekend, which was a Labor Day weekend record. Yeah, really, really awesome to see these sort of box office numbers again. We've been talking about, we just did Movie Club on Shang-Chi, and all of us getting back to the theater to see the movie, and what kind of experience that was. So that was it's nice to see this sort of thing becoming normal again.
Yeah.
So good. It's probably a good sign for the Eternals.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited for the Eternals.
Like I said, more Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi also popped up in Fortnite. I don't think any of us here play Fortnite, so I can't really speak to that experience. But I guess I missed an image here, but we should also mention, also popped up in Avengers Campus. So, well,
I was there, didn't see him, disappointed.
Yeah, so if you're lucky, you can see Shang-Chi and Death Dealer in Avengers Campus. You can also bring home Morris, which this was one of those characters that I saw in the movie, and I was like, they are going to sell so many of these. There's the plush already on shelves. You can get it. I believe it was Mike spotted it in Disneyland, and then we know it's also available at Target, so you can pick up
and Shop Disney.
There you go. So you can pick up Morris and the lovable faceless creature.
Will it help you navigate? Now, what they need to do is put GPS in one of them, and then it can help you navigate, like he did through the maze, right?
I would love to make Morris the GPS voice on my phone. I'm not sure. And then have Ben Kingsley translating it for me.
Yeah, you need Ben. So I missed Movie Club. Did this make anyone want to watch Planet of the Apes?
No, I've never wanted to watch Planet of the Apes. I don't know what you would have to say to make me want to watch it, but I've yet to encounter that really conversation.
Right?
Those monkeys were fantastic actors, though. They did a great job.
I can't believe they trained them to act like that.
Before I get off of the Morris image, I just want to share Kyle's comment. Not that butthead, but yeah. We did get some gameplay footage from Midnight Suns. We talked about this a little bit last week. They had made the announcement. It's a PC game, much more complex than anything I typically play, so probably not something I'm rushing out to get, but the gameplay does look really, really cool. You can check out the videos on Laughing Place right now. Yeah, really awesome graphic design in the game and some really cool cutscenes as well. So highly recommend checking out those videos. If you are a gamer, this is going to be something, if you're a gamer and a Marvel fan, those will be something you want to pick up for sure. And that'll be coming out next year. You still got time before Midnight Suns hits the market. Jumping back to comics, we got a comic book cover for Venom number 3, which I've lost track of where we are with Venom, and I don't know how we're back at number 3, but that'll be coming in December. And
well,
then
I think that's the new authors, right? Isn't somebody else taking over the storyline? So aren't they kind of like revamping?
Yeah. Al Ewing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah. So they'll be. Did we get Venom number 1 yet? Has that happened?
No, I think that's coming out this month.
Okay, there we go. That's why I was thrown off, because I didn't realize we started it yet. That makes sense. And then we also got Demon Days Rising Storm number 1, the next Peach Momoko comic. And here's, of course, her iconic style of art on this cover. And this will also be coming in December. We haven't really been keeping up with Demon Days. This is another one, though, that once they all hit Marvel Unlimited, I'm going to want to kind of go through all of them all at once, because this art's just fantastic. So it's going to be a really cool, probably a lot of new iPad backgrounds once I start reading through these comics.
There you go. And I think she's also writing. She's not only doing the artwork, but she's writing the Demon Days. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool to see somebody transition from just art to still doing the art, but also writing the stories as well. So, yeah, that's our Marvel news for this week.
Do we have any coming up?
Well, I mean, obviously, we'll have another episode of What If to talk about.
And you're going to the Hollywood Bowl.
Yes, we will be checking out Black Panther in concert. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to. I mean, that's just such a unique experience that it should be really, really cool to see in person.
And then on Monday, we'll have coverage of the Marvel Fan First Monday. Not quite sure what they're going to talk about, but
something awesome.
And then next week, we have some great comics coming. We have Kang the Conqueror number 2. We have Fantastic Four number 35, the 60th anniversary issue. Trial of Magneto number 2. Extreme Carnage Agony number 1, The Last Annihilation Wakanda number 1, and then the I believe the final issue of Web of Spider-Man. So
wow,
we're at the final issue of that already. Oh wow, okay.
I think it was a 5-issue series. It could be wrong.
Yeah, it could be. I could see them wrapping that story up with one more issue, but yeah, that's quite a lineup there. I'm excited.
Do they still think that Spider-Man and Peter Parker are separate?
I'm starting to think they do know, but
they're just like
are not
humoring him.
Yeah, exactly.
Never mind.
I've only read one issue, but it was something that I was like, really, we're still gonna do this, but different story, different characters,
Listen, Squirrel Girl knows more than she lets on.
Okay.
Always. Okay, well, that's a wrap from this. What do we got? I'm trying to think what we have next. We don't have a lot because everyone's covering Halloween across this company, so it's going to be a bit before we're live again. Actually, probably Disney Trivia Live on Saturday night, 7:30. Doobie and Gideon, and then that's about it. Any last words from the assembled?
If you haven't watched What If yet, first of all, I don't know why you listened to this, but go watch it because this episode was amazing.
If you haven't seen Shang-Chi, go to the theater and see Shang-Chi.
Yes, absolutely.
That's about it. Well, thanks so much, and see you next time.